Okay, we have next speakers. Yes, thank you. Luigi, Verri, and Daniele de Luca, who will speak about browsing cultural heritage through interactive environment in Blend4Web, and will show us some case studies. In fact, we got two presentation about cultural heritage, so this is rather interesting.
So we will talk about browsing cultural heritage through interactive environments in Blend4Web. I am Daniele, and this is Luigi. We will present to you some case studies we developed with the Blend4Web APIs. We came from Italy. Cineca is is an inter-university consortium. We work at Cineca, and is serving both research and industries by means of the main Italian supercomputing public facility. The Cineca Visual IT Lab is inside, is a small department focused on computer graphics and application. We've been developing a real-time application and short movies to communicate scientific results and cultural heritage knowledge, both for research and a general public purpose. To exhibit and to present, to recontextualize are some of the needs in the field of virtual cultural heritage. Since our project aims at cross-mediality, a turning point was obtained thanks to Blend4Web as a framework that enables, in-browser 3D interactive computer graphics without the use of any plugins. And thanks also to WebGL itself. This presentation will give an overview on some case studies developed at Cineca Visit Lab, greatly empowered by the Blend4Web framework. Each project relies upon some kind of different implementation, ranging from direct export and the use of nodes, of course, up to a modular 3D environment grounded on the Blend4Web API. So we will now be presenting a few case studies developed in our lab. The first application category we were involved into was an educational game prototype. We studied Blend4Web on it in 2014, and is an educational game. After that, we moved to another gen, the classical 3D navigation and metadata information app. And in the last period, we developed some more complex prototypes based upon a personal virtual gallery concept that we will see in more detail later. The first project is an early prototype, so a little bit rough. Is a Back to the Middle Ages game that transports the player into an historical and philologically correct environment of Bologna in the 13th century in Italy. We developed a point-and-click interaction system combined with bounding boxes to move our character, Guido, which now is used in the inventory. And we developed an inventory to collect, use, analyze, combine the classical point-and-click adventure game, but it is educational, so everything is philologically correct and reconstructed to work with just point-and-click system, one-finger tap system, so suitable for mobile platform. And of course, there was a dialogue engine to discover what the non-playing characters had to say, the mobile touch interaction optimization, and all the Blend4Web, all the things that we experimented in Blend4Web in the 2014. We soon understood that we could, from this knowledge, that we could transmit knowledge to and easily teach Blend4Web to university students or IT scientists, humanists, but also to secondary school students during Cineca classes. So this little project involves an high school from Altamura in the south of Italy, and aim to teach the basic techniques of photogrammetry and topology to a group of secondary school students in order to reconstruct some of the objects that you are seeing, which are scientific historical collection from their school, from the early years of the 20th century or 19th century. Blend4Web teaching here is effective not only for university students, but for high school students. In particular, the ease of HTML exporter makes possible to create simple interaction with a very small effort, even for non-programming students. And fast learning curves gives us astonishing results in teaching experience. After this first experimentation in the teaching experience and programming experience, we realized that the previous case studies can be conceived as building blocks for a more general framework to enable dynamic collection creation, virtual exhibitions, 3D environment design, 3D experiences driven by digital libraries or repositories. So, in each case study or project, we had the occasion to develop a building block to reach the more general framework. The virtual exhibition concept could be declined into some of our current or future projects, like the first one, Spoleto, is a simple interaction and philological reconstruction of a chapel of an ancient monastery. The second one, Movir, is a touch-oriented complex interaction to discover your favorite art collection into a dynamically generated environment. And the future project like Caserta Royal Palace one or Viso Studiolo of Isabella d'Este are customization of a virtual exhibition and its asset by the user or by the curator of a show, even to the general public, but also to the scholar and the researchers to discuss and make a discussion about the configuration that you can do with all these tools. Let's talk about Spoleto. In the Spoleto project, the user has first-person site navigation with a point-and-click interaction that makes us to discover the original look of the chapel of an ancient monastery, philologically reconstructed. In the model here is mainly created through photogrammetry, as you can see, quite good in texturing because of the photogrammetry process, and after it an optimization and some phenological retouching, like deleting something that was not there, and were made through classical modeling into Blender. The navigation system is based upon a point-and-click emulation with a point of interest on the ground and a mini-map on the bottom left corner. The info panels are placed into the environment, and all the interaction is enabled by Blend4Web logic nodes. What's important here for the cultural heritage field is that all the paintings are now exhibited into different American museums. So here are placed into the original positions from the research point of view. It's a huge added value to see all the paintings all together. And this recreates the fresco cycle from left to right, a sort of storytelling, which is possible only displaying them in this way. And for our next project, our latest project, Luigi.
Hi. Let's look now at our latest project, Movir, in detail. It is now still in-house, but we are now in a stable developing phase, hoping to go in production this year and finally release it to the public. The Virtual Museum of Italian Banks is a prototype. that aims at sharing with the public the artistic heritage held by Italian banking institutions. The purpose of MUIR is to connect a digital library to a web portal to query the repository with various search parameters such as author, year, painting technique, and to create a personalized favorite art collection. Then it's possible to launch a 3D exhibition that brings the selected works of art in a 3D environment. Let's look at the backend of the application. Starting from a web portal, it's possible to search on a repository of 1,000 works of art. In the backend, a PHP and XML engine developed by our colleague Antonio Baievo is the interface between the 2D web search and the 3D Blend4Web application. In that way, for every user request, a cache folder is created to collect all the needed resources. After that, some Python scripts developed this time by our colleague Silvano Imboden procedurally generate the personal virtual museum with Blender and export it with Blend4Web. The virtual museum is automatically created depending on the number of the paintings chosen by the users with the web search. The paintings are dynamically distributed according to their size without using fixed spots. You can see in the picture the pink, blue, and green parts. They are pre-built assets that are used dynamically by the application. There are also some special rooms like the always some fixed assets that are automatically placed in the scene.
Yeah, the fixed assets are scattered around, like with the particle system or duplicate technique on the fly by the Python scripts and then exported with Blend4Web.
Okay, let's look now at the interaction part. A Blend4Web application handles the user interactions and a point-of-click system applied to a continuous eye camera creates a first-person view environment. The target point of every camera movement is calculated as the intersection between the floor and the ray projected by the camera from a clicked point on the screen. A 3D mouse pointer and an inverted drag view rotation with both mouse and touch listener support every desktop and mobile browsers. Another type of interaction is the gallery mode. The gallery mode is switched on the fly to a target camera when we select a painting. And then an automatic zoom proportional to the painting size is performed, and the rotation camera limits are related to the painting absolute position. Well, let's look now at the next building blocks that we will build within our ongoing project. The Royal Caserta Palace usually hosts different exhibitions. So the curators need a tool to design and customize rooms, spaces, and props. We are planning to create a Blend4Web application for this purpose. The first customization is a contemporary art show, but in the future this application could be applied to every setup and exhibition of the Royal Palace room. In the second project that you can see in the list is a Bella d'Este Virtual Studiolo. It will be possible to save and share this time different configuration of the historical space according to different scholar or researchers' point of view to enable reliability study and historical comparison. In 2016, we started working also to some HMD application, experimenting with the Blend4Web gyroscope module API and HMD parameters to support Google Cardboards. We hope to get the funds for Virtual Studio Low project in order to implement all these new kind of interaction, not only in HMD systems, but also in immersive environments, such virtual theaters, caves, and keeping, of course, the possibility to acquire digital libraries and databases. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
I think this is awesome. We got a lot of questions. First question, sorry.
Thank you very much. I see you create the VR museum. It's very attractive. I have one question. How do you build this 3D sense? You do the modeling part by manual or automatic create?
For what project?
About the left one. Yeah, this one.
Okay, what's the question?
So I think there's a lot of 3D modeling to do. So how do you create this 3D content? You just made by hand? Manually?
No, photogrammetry is photogrammetry made and retouched because there are not. This is not the.
It's not a real 3D sense.
Sorry.
Is it really 3D sense?
3D sense.
Is it really a 3D model?
Yeah, real model.
No. I just because I also do something like have some also about the cultural heritage.
Mm-hmm.
We use laser scanner to create the 3D content.
Mm-hmm.
It will create a very big data. It's hard to put on web.
So yeah, it's optimized, of course, with the baking tools. And the photogrammetry gives us a quite good model, but we have to rescale to fit the real size because the camera distortion always made from 1 centimeter to 10 centimeters error propagation. So we rebuild on top of it an optimized model. So
we had to decimate the scene, yeah.
Yeah, by hand, if we can, here is simple because our flat planes, except from the ceiling. And after that, with the bake included in Blender, we transfer the texture that came out of the box with photogrammetry, but is not optimized. So we pack a new UV map, betterly optimized. So from, I don't know, 12 million vertices to a few thousand is quite a huge improve, and works also on mobile. So I think this techniques is our best.
Okay, thank you.
You reduced also texture up to 1024 pixel.
Okay, I also made a demo. Maybe I can share to you after meeting. But my problem is my scene is very big, and the experience is very not very good. In the HMD.
In the HMD.
Yeah, the FPS is very low, and because people have the motion sickness. I think I have a lot of things want to ask to you. Maybe we can chat after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
Hi guys, thank you for the talk. Great demos, and my question is about preserving the actual paintings, because, well, I'm not very into art, but as far as I understand, people who really are, they interested like in every little detail of the painting, every stroke, every shade, and such thing. And considering this, I have two questions. First of all, this point, because of this point, it makes sense to make really, really high resolution reproductions, high resolution, like scannings of photos, like Google Art, Gigapixel. Do you make something like that? Because it will require some extra effort to render such a picture and.
You're asking if the high resolution images are conserved somewhere and accessible within this application, or
yes.
Like in the Mover project, we on the fly recompress by the PHP phase in the first part when you are on the website and you click create 3D gallery. The PHP generates an XML and recompress all the texture for power of 2. Small textures, so every detail is lost. But when you go into gallery mode and you're seeing all the picture, you can click on a picture and then an IP image, pyramidal high resolution image is loaded on another web page. So you are going to see the high resolution for research, for scholar purpose, and then after that you can go back to the 3D gallery and choose another picture.
So you can really zoom in, see
you can zoom in
techniques, paint strokes, techniques.
Not in the 3D. You can zoom in and see some details. But if you want all the strokes, you can click, and on another page,
you can go back to the 2D site.
You
can get
it will automatically.
Texture of the picture.
And the other question is a problem which I found out quite recently. It keeping me from sleeping at nights. It's color space conversions, because, as we all know, GPU is a linear device. It's use linear interpolations, linear filtering, and most of images out there are not linear actually. And so when you like resize them and filtering on GPU or resize them by different software, it will screw up it. And for it, maybe in general, for like gaming applications, it may be not very important, but I think in your case, it actually is, because, like, as I said, people who really are into this, they will notice change of gamma in the image, aliasing of the image, and such a thing. So do you like? Do you think about it? Do you take any extra effort to avoid such problems?
We took what the website gave to us, so we can't optimize on the fly, because we can't, do color grading or gamma or other kind of processing in the meanwhile from the website to the 3D gallery. But when you click, you go to the raw data that they have inserted, the researchers inserted in the website. So they took the responsibility to do it good, and the IP image, the high resolution image should be good enough to do some research, some studies. The personal virtual gallery is another gallery, but in 3D, to enjoy more or share your favorite art collection, because you are adding to your collection and then showing. And but for research purposes, we on purpose keep the link to the correct high resolution image, and this is our way to manage it, because we are mostly artists, programmers, so we can do this. But from the research point of view, we let them to do their own best and resolve this kind of problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. The same, guys.
Thank you for your talk. I just want to know, maybe you have some experiment with light in the scene and its influence on the picture. Actually, as I know, in gallery you need like special light, and it influence on how human feels the picture.
Of course, the humans tend to perceive the light, to see the light, and in so many different ways. But we model it to be appealing. But the pictures here are not lighted. We can fake things in CG, So we made them shadeless. This keep the image the standard one, and the other colors are on purpose gray and not really bright, to create an atmosphere and to make it pleasant to the viewer. So this is the recreation of a museum experience, and to assure that there are no color grading, no color white balance problem, we keep them in a shadeless mode, to keep them like on like in a 2D gallery on the 3D. The only thing, if I can make a note, is the vignette shader that is giving us a more, I think, more cool view of the gallery, and it could be disabled, but we were keeping it on. It's the only thing that may change the color and appearance of the shadeless paintings.
Thank you so much. You mentioned about learning process for students. Can you please provide more details on for which purposes are you using Blend4Web? I mean, in learning process, how it is organized and so on.
Well, the HTML export has been very important for us because it's a very simple tool. So we could teach this kind of export easily to also high school students. And we started with a simple photogrammetry of some tools that you have seen in the presentation, and we started with the photogrammetry, then retopology. We show to the student how to simplify the model and the texture. Then they easily could export the scene with HTML, and sometimes some of them use also nodes interaction or other feature of Blend4Web that were available on the GUI.
Okay.
Directly.
Okay, thank you.
And they have done some of these elements and some other from the collection. They haven't shared on their blogs or on the website, but I hope they will, because their experience is good, and they can share all the sources and.
Did the students use Blender before?
No, this is a Blender, and Blender class is a photogrammetry, Blender and Blend4Web process.
Okay.
So in I don't know 20 days, in 20 days we tried to teach some basic techniques, and they didn't retopologize any model manually. They used the decimator, some tricks. The texture are not really well UV unwrapped, but the results are quite good. And this is from one student's untouched. This other one is untouched because they're it's quite simple object. The other ones are more guided process, but they managed to reach their purpose and our purpose.
We were amazed on discover how it can be easy to.
Did they create some custom materials for their models? I mean,
no,
student shader not.
They can
just textures and
just textures with okay, with the labels anchor.
Directly from Blend4Web plugin.
That's the easiest part.
Okay.
Some outlining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions, please? Okay, thank you guys for coming and for your awesome presentation.
Thank you.